Hello, everybody. My name is Lewis Lee, and this is Plan the Traffic. And we do this every Thursday night, 9 o'clock Eastern Time. That's Ohio time in my situation. And so if you want to leave comments, you can do it in Facebook Live and YouTube Live. So leave the comments, and we sometimes can see them, and we will try to answer any questions. Tonight, we are talking about rusty cars. Mainly my rusty truck is where it started this whole thing.
To say sometimes we see them, most times we don't. At least I know I don't.
Yeah, man. They call my area the Rust Belt. We're in the Rust Belt.
No, I'm talking about the comments. Jim, you used to be the comment moderator. What happened to that?
Yeah, Jim.
You're not doing your job, dude. I mean, we gotta have to have a talk here.
I don't care. I don't feel like I ever see some of my sister-in-law. So.
All right.
Real quick, what year is your truck, Lewis? I'm curious.
2010.
2010, because mine is a 2007 F350, and I know I want to see the comments come up about the Ford junk and the rust, but I am highly disappointed in mine because like my bed is like rotted out to no end.
Yeah, but how's your truck?
Well, other than it doesn't run, it's kind of sitting there. But no, I mean, like you said, I was told one of the things because I asked a guy at a body shop, one of my body shop guys, and he said, "Oh yeah, well the Fords when they put them together, when the panels go on, they actually have like a foam."
Yes.
A foam adhesive, and that absorbs the water, and that's why they, absorbs the contact and rust, and that's why.
Yep. I was talking with someone about this. My friend TJ is doing a car. He works out of his house now doing body work, but he's working on a Challenger, and the quarters around the wheel wells in the bottom all rusted out, and he didn't understand why. The car's not that old. And as he pulled it apart, he found all of that foam in there. And he just started cutting it all out. Plus, he said he put it down and he lit it, and the stuff lit up and ignited like lint. He said, so these cars burn. That's an accelerant.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think that's a big part of the problem.
So, like I said, I was highly because I guess, well, my truck is, like I said, is a 07. And I guess it was, I noticed it when it was like about 10 years old or so. And I went back to the Ford dealership and they said, oh, you're out of warranty on the body and you're out of this and all that. But I was highly disappointed that, especially considering at that time and still at this moment, I mean, my truck, I only got 80,000 miles on it. And probably when that was.
I'm sure because you look at them too. I know the Silverados, the Dodges, brand new mint looking trucks are just, and Silverados brake lines will go and, at only a few years old. So it's not just the Ford. I think it's across the industry.
Yeah, no, I agree. But like I said, I just know that there's the blue oval haters that will tell me that. But I mean, like I said, I see it even on the newer, like I said, I'm really surprised. I guess it's, of course I guess they say, oh, because of the cost and we got to keep the cost down and material but you're not keeping a car for, it's not like your Goat or the GT, my Mustang or anything like that, where they're 60-year-old vehicle that isn't rotted out. It's amazing.
All right. Let me tell you this. I'm in that kind of mood tonight.
Hey, easy, relax, cowboy. Relax.
I didn't start yet. I didn't even start yet. So
I'm just trying to get my word in before you start because we only run 3 hours, right? I know. Just remember, pace yourself, son.
I'm ready, man. I'm ready. Well, your Mustang, that can't rust. It hasn't left the garage.
I know.
It's in a freaking environmentally controlled environment. But I'll tell you this, and my Pontiac, I bought it in 1975, and there was rust in the lower quarters. It was 10 years old already. 60s cars were no, yes, the metal is better overall, but those cars, GMs, had that lower fender rust because they had the water drain that would
Yeah.
stop halfway down the fender, and you'd see the rust halfway up the fender. Those cars weren't made to last that many years. They were made. People had kept cars 4 years, 5 years, and they were junked or they were buying something new. So,
Yeah, I
they do it on
guess.
purpose. They do it on purpose. You know, as soon as your warranty is up, you know, stuff starts to go, and it shouldn't. You know what I mean?
If these cars didn't do that, we wouldn't have the restoration business that we had now. And I want to talk about that Mustang. It came back into the shop again. I had round 2 with this car. I got stories about this thing.
Yeah. But, you know, I also have to say, and you got it really bad, Lewis, and I know I do, and you probably do too, Ray.
Oh, yes.
You know, because the chemicals that they use now for snow removal, they use that brine. Yeah, that stuff is actually I don't know if I have a bottle of that here. I actually got a deactivator that you can spray on to help clean that stuff off, because I was over at the school board and school board right on where they also keep the county trucks. And I was in there one day, and the guy was like, man, we got to make this stuff last. We had a 10-year budget, and the stuff that we have is already rotted out. And the guys looked at the guy and said, dude, it's the stuff that we use. I mean, it's even eating like snow plows out, you know,
I will say where I live, we have some of the richest districts around. There's money everywhere. Jim is nodding his head. He knows. He's in there too. And I've seen county trucks, like you said, a couple years old, that look like they're falling apart. They had a truck on the block the other day doing work. I thought if this guy would have hit the brakes hard or took off fast, half the truck would have stayed on the street, and the chassis would have taken off.
Yeah.
Again, for that same reason. Yeah.
But, you know, that stuff is just, I mean, you're already creating a problem before it really starts with that stuff. I mean, that, you know.
And it's probably budgetary.
Yeah.
Yeah, my truck.
They're more worried about people getting into accidents than they are about your stupid ass vehicle.
Yeah.
You know, it's true, because I mean, the temperature gets to 35, and they're spraying the bridges already.
Yeah. Oh, before that, I mean, I know here in Nassau, they
do it the night before.
Yeah,
you know, because you can see it on the road. You can see the stripes on the road. Yeah.
Yeah, that stuff is nasty, I tell you.
Yeah, Lewis. You're screwed.
I know.
You bought the vehicle. You're in for the long haul. It's like, what are you gonna do?
You know, it just, when I bought the truck, I bought it. I think I had about 2.5 years. No rust nowhere.
You've had it that long?
Yeah, it's been about because I've been at this house for about 2.5 years. So
if you would have asked me, I would have said you've had it 6 months.
Yeah, I wish. And man, a year later, it started bubbling up, like from the inside out. And like you said, I reached in there and I could feel that foam stuff.
Yeah.
Yep. And, I was gonna try to dig it all out and then spray some rust stopper stuff in there.
You're not going to dig it all out because, like I said, my friend TJ he has body panels cut off, and now he has access to a lot of it. It's inside. It's where they bond the panels together. Wow. So you'll never get all of it unless you can really get inside there.
Do you think that it was a sketchy repair when you bought it, or you know, do you think that
no, he said somebody. I think this guy's the original owner of the car, and now he wants.
I'm talking about Ray's. I'm not you, Ray. I'm talking about Lewis's pickup truck. Do you think it was like one of these sketchy? We're gonna fix it to make it look good, and you bought it? We'll never know.
Not now, at least. Not until Lewis's internet kicks in again.
Yeah, I think so because I noticed some like the paint's peeling off my hood too. Like whoever painted the hood didn't paint it right.
Well, that's
the paint's chipping off.
That's also been a big.
It's down to the.
Yeah.
And then I started noticing places where they taped it off. I could see that it's been painted in certain spots. So yeah, they might have played with it and. Yep.
Adhesion, adhesion is a big problem with stuff like that. But a lot of it, I mean, all the GM cars through the 90s, my Impala included, has the thinnest paint on it in the world, and panels faded. There's all sorts of stuff happening very early on. So
I think that was when they
like
first started going to like not waterborne but a water base, or they were starting to mix or play around because all the manufacturers had that problem that time frame about paint. They were it was all crappy stuff.
Yeah, no, GM, especially in the '80s, was like disastrous.
Yeah, especially the Chevys.
Yeah, well, across the GM line, I mean Buicks. I've seen Oldsmobiles, and yeah,
you can almost see where the clear is just peeling right off the car.
It does, yes. It's adhesion.
Yeah, when I grew up on a car that's perfect.
Good luck. You know what? Then you wouldn't want it. Then you're not going to want to drive it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
I had the same problem with my tool truck when I got this one from that guy. He had a little fender bender, and they supposedly had to replace one of the side skirts on the truck. And I didn't think much of it, and they did it. And literally, like 4 months after I had it, this thing started rotting out. It started rusting, and it's supposed to be aluminum.
That's a trick.
So I'm like, what's going on? Then I realized when they fixed it, they used a piece of sheet metal instead of the aluminum side because of the cost. So, not to say, but my opinion is that the guy got his insurance check because that aluminum siding. I mean, that skirt is a lot of money. I mean, it's a couple, almost over $1,000 for the panel. It's just straight as an arrow. I mean, it's it's nothing super fancy, but the being aluminum. So I'm pretty sure that he pocketed it and he was getting out of the business, and he told the guy to fix it, whatever. So they put that metal on there, and of course, riveting it onto the aluminum with not the right setup caused a corrosion, and next thing you know, I got a big problem. Right. I got a pretty rusted outside for only being supposedly fixed. So
you don't know where you come. When I was hauling cars, I went and picked up a car down in your neck of the woods, Brian. It was at one of the Copart places, and I get down there and it's a half a car. But it's not a half of a car going from door to door. It's going down the middle.
Right.
Boy.
And so I called the guy. I was like, "Hey, do you know this is a half a car?" And he's like, "Oh yeah." He goes, "Bring it up. I'm gonna put this car back together." So I'll take, I bring it back up here. He was a local guy for me, so I brought it back. And this guy put that car together. He welded it right down the middle, put it together. You would never know it was hit. Wow. And that made me start thinking, man, you don't know what you're buying. You buy something used.
Yeah.
I know he's a good guy. I mean, a good body guy. So I would trust one of his cars, but think about other people.
Sure.
Yeah. Yeah. It's really, I mean, trust me, I've seen some stuff, and, I use this jokingly. We all love sausage, but we don't want to see it being made. And I've walked in a few shops and turned around and walked back out because I was like, man, I don't want to see anymore, So
yeah. That's crazy.
It's kind of scary. It's actually, and sometimes, they're not to make a excuse or, give them their leeway, but sometimes they're just forced in it because if it's insurance money, they're only working with so much, so they can only do so much to do the repair. I know that's not right, but that's just the way it is. That's the way it is, and sometimes, and like you say, Ray, I know, like you have that Mustang that you're dealing with, and it's kind of a shame or sad that somebody's thinking one thing and they're really getting taken for a ride on the other part of it.
Yeah. I found out the car was an eBay buy, so I kind of we kind of figured that. the interesting thing, I might as well talk about it now. I got called back this week because the car came back in, and now the guy wanted me to do the seat belts and the visor switch. And they wanted some weather stripping. I'm not going to do that. And the right door doesn't open from the outside, only the inside. So anyway, doing the seat belts, pull everything apart. The rear seat belts were in the car. And my question is, are original 66 Mustang seat belts worth anything?
That depends on which one. You have your standard and you have your deluxe.
Well, these have black buckles, kind of with
Do
a
they have
round
they have a
circle,
button? Yeah.
I guess.
Those,
Yeah. They were,
those are deluxe.
what I had to do to get them out, they were original. No one had ever taken these things out. The fronts, of course, weren't there. And like we talked about, I saw from under the car that the nut inserts for the tunnel side, the transmission tunnel, were in the transmission tunnel on each side. But the outboard mounting, I had no idea how to mount these things outboard. What I had to do is pull the seats out. And let me say, who at Ford designed putting those freaking seats in the car? You got to go through the plate, up through the. I didn't even know how to do it. The other guy had to tell me, "Oh yeah, you got to go through those holes in the plate." I'm like, "What freaking genius designed this?"
Yeah,
Great.
the seat riser.
Holy crap! Anyway, pull the seats out, sill plate, pull the carpets back. Okay, when they did floor patches, they used floor patches, but on the rise of the floor where the sill plate is, somebody had done flat plate patches,
And they went over the holes.
Well, right. Well, I'm assuming maybe the holes that were there were probably rusted out to no end, so they put these patches in. So here's a point. Now, I kind of backwards engineered this. The car's all apart in some shop. They tell the metal guy, Juan, Jose, Roberto, whoever it was, they told him, all right, go in there and weld in, fix up the metal. We did the floors, fix up and he went in there and he patched it up, never thinking forward, two steps forward, that you're going to want to put seatbelts in the car. So when they finally got to the interior guy who put the carpet in and was going to put the belts in, and he said, hey, where's the holes for the seatbelts? They probably had a conversation in the shop, and they said, oh, he didn't do that. Oh, because he welded over, put the patch panels in. You know what? Take the inboard belts out and forget it. And that's what they did. So they sent the car out, not only with substandard brakes, they sent it out with no seat belts in the front. So now we're looking at it, and where the hole would have to go, it's sheet metal. So if I drill through it, I'm in sheet metal. 25,000 stick. You can't attach to that. Under the car, they have that. It's all boxed. So now if I drill through, I'm in an airspace that I can't get behind to put a nut or a plate. So the shop owner and me both went home Tuesday night thinking, okay, we'll think this out tonight and we'll come back tomorrow and see what we can do. We decided to drill straight through kind of on an angle, and we came out through the boxed area. I said the right way to do this is to put a piece of tubing inside so it doesn't crush.
Collapse, yeah.
Well, of course, to do that, you have to have access to the inside, which we didn't. And we're not going to start taking the metalwork apart on this car.
Yeah.
So we used longer bolts with bigger washers, and we put them through. We tightened the bejesus out of them, and now the guy's got seatbelts. But again, it was like nobody thought forward in the restoration process of what was going to have to happen. And, you work on enough of this stuff and you start seeing this over and over and over again. And you say, you know what? I only want to work on cars like Brian's, like a guy that's had it for 100 years. Like, so, or like my own car. I know where it's been for 45 years.
Yeah.
The mysteries involved in working on these older cars it's ridiculous. It really is.
The older they get, the worse they get.
What's that, Jim?
The older they get, the worse they get.
Well, maybe, it depends. It really all depends whose hands it went through. Because you could have a car that was newer that got ghouled up too. So,
oh yeah,
all bets are off. But the seat, what I figured I was going to do is the driver's seat was kind of like the seat back is broken. It kind of lays back. And from what I understand, this guy is a short guy. So I said, you know what? I'm going to do him a favor. I'll switch the seats. I had the seats up on one of those, what do you call them? The things the body shops use. It's the tables.
Those trays, the folding trays.
So I put the seats on that upside down because I wanted to get to the tracks and lubricate them because you couldn't move the seat in the car. They were frozen. So I'm looking at both of the seats from the bottom and saying, you know what? On my GM cars, the seat, the manual seat release is always on the outside of the seat.
Right.
Well, these had the release on, both of them had it on the same side of the seat. I guess it would have been the outside. No,
Yeah, they put a passenger seat on the driver's side.
that's what I thought. So I said, you know what? I'm going to swap the seats and give this guy a good seat. But no, those seats have a chrome outside trim on the side of the seat. So I had to put them back the same way.
Yep.
I think what they did is they switched the tracks at some point.
They could have, yeah. All that stuff is you can't switch. I mean, that's right side, left side. And the seats are the same way because unless you tear them all apart and flip them, because like I said, you had that hockey stick thing on the side.
Right. So I had to put them back the way they were. And of course, my luck, I clearanced the holes in the carpet so I could get the seat studs to go through the carpet. I had a nice clear hole. They didn't do that. They just forced it through.
Yeah.
The passenger seat, literally, I threw it in. It just fell right in through the holes. Boom. Beautiful. Now, on the lift that I'm working on, I had the car biased to I had it closer on the left side so I could open the right side door at the time. Now I'm putting the left side seat in, and I'm putting it, and I can't get it to drop through the holes. And, of course, I can't open the door all the way because I had the car closer to the left side of the lift. So I had to drop the car down, pull it up, reposition it, and that freaking seat fought me for I don't know, about a half hour. I don't know why it wouldn't go in. So everything about that seat, and I ran the nuts up. One of them was stripped to Jesus, so of course I had to put a metric nut on it. And I said, if this guy ever goes to have these seats redone, I put never sees on the studs, but now the upholstery guy who takes these out is gonna be cursing out who was the last guy that had these seats out because these studs are all screwed up. Yeah. And of course it was me, but I inherited from the last idiot. So down the line, nobody knows what they're dealing with on an old car.
Yeah.
Compound idiots.
Yeah, I'm telling you, it's ridiculous.
There's a comment over on Facebook. Somebody said that they've actually found where somebody took a 12-bolt rear end cover and siliconed it to a 10-bolt rear. Oh, Lord.
Well, that's true because the bolts will not line up. Maybe one or two will catch, but that's about it.
Yeah, but if
that's
you
terrible.
Out of it.
No,
they probably sold the car as a
12-bolt.
Yeah.
Well, gee, how come there's no bolts? I just see blue schmooze coming through the holes.
Well, if you're patient and take a razor blade and trim all that up, you'll never, fill it in. You'll never. I mean, like I said, nobody will ever know.
You got to see bolt heads. You're not seeing any bolt heads. I said maybe I don't even know if you can catch. No, a 12 bolt starts 2 on either side of the carrier.
Yeah.
4, 6. Yeah, they go like that. So the 10 bolt is, I think there's 1 on either side of the carrier. Yeah, so you can't even.
And if you're really good, I guess you can cut a whole bunch of heads off and glue the bolt holes on there and make it look like it. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised one bit on that.
Brian just answered on Facebook. He said that's what they did. They took the bolts off and glued them in.
I was just talking to a friend tonight. I just got the phone with him. He's out in Holbrook. He does a lot of car work, and we both know this one guy at a shop, and he's the king of dum-dum. So you take a screw out of a sill plate, let's say, and it wouldn't fit because it was oversized. He'll wrap the screw in dum-dum and put it in, and he's gone so far as to make molds of bolt heads out of dum-dum, and then put them in place and paint over. It's like claymation he does, but it looks right. It's like, wow, that's. But again, now you're doing a job, and depending how you're structured for hours and the money, how far are you going to go? How far? You may have to do hours of work to make something right. Sometimes you can't even make it right, really, without a lot of major work.
Yeah, well, that's why sometimes I laugh, and this goes back on turning wrenches. I think we're geared. So many people are geared on trying to beat the system. Instead of just doing the operations from 1 to 5 or 1 to 20, they jump to 6 and go to 10. You know what I'm saying? Or they start at the very last thing to see and then muddle their way through. Or I always liked, and the German cars were famous for this, you could see the part, you could see the bolt, and you had to take that bolt out, but unfortunately, you had to start someplace in the back of the car to get that bolt out. You know what I'm saying? That's just how crazy the engineering is. And this person would spend, which they think they're trying to beat the clock, they would spend hours instead of just doing it right. Yeah. And I learned that early on. It was just like, just do it by the book or do it the right way, and you didn't have to fight the system.
You're a good factory man, Brian.
Well, it's like I said, we all try to skim the system, and it usually costs, to make a nickel, it cost us a dime.
And I've told the story before. When my brother was at Porsche Audi, he was a big guy, not as big as you, but he was a big guy. And he worked with a Russian fellow who's still there, who's the top Audi tech, I think, on the East Coast, who's a very slim, slender, smaller guy. And when they would get their ROs, a lot of it, especially if it was like recall stuff, like there was an exhaust bolt, an exhaust manifold recall or whatever. And my brother just couldn't get in there. But the other guy, Lenny, he could. So the service manager was cool. He would let them swap ROs. So every one of those exhaust manifold recalls that came in, Lenny got it. But my brother was good at a different recall. And so he threw all those to him so they could get their productivity and their what do you call it? Their ratio up for the week. And that kind of makes sense. Like, hey, why not give a job to the guy who's best suited to do that job? And I'm sure there's guys out there who would hack it and like, I'll do it, and they'll make every shortcut in the book.
Yep.
And and rule it up.
So, like I said, it's just the one, unfortunately, we try to beat the system, and you're going to get caught. And
I did that tonight or today. I was taking my carburetors off the motorcycle. So you got to take all the fairings off to get to the carburetors.
Mm-hmm.
So I took off the bottom fairings. I was like, I should be able to get it. Well, no. I had to take off the top. I had to take off everything. And that's the same thing. I should have just started. I knew I had to take it off, but I'm trying to be slick.
I know. Well, the thing is, too, when you work on any vehicle enough times, you kind of find those workarounds because BMW, this company, is famous for that. I was just thinking when I did my injectors on the bike, they have you taking half the bike apart. Gas tank. What are you taking the gas tank off of? The injector's right. The rail is right above the cylinder on the. All I got to do is take one piece of fairing off, and boom. I approach it like a car. Like, okay, I did skip steps 4 through 6 and went right to 7 because I didn't have to do it their way. And then you wonder, like, who wrote this procedure out? The guy's probably never worked on a motor. He's probably looking at how they built it, and he's just reversed it. But
he just needs to get it to fit in the hole.
Exactly.
Yep.
Boy. Oh. It's been a week.
So I got my carburetors off, and I'm gonna work on the manifold so I can put the Weber on the single carb.
Nice. Now, how are you setting that up for jetting and stuff from, like, what's your baseline going to be? Did you get any information from you? Going blind. Okay.
And to put it on and turn the throttle.
I'll tell you this. I think Brian will back me up. Webers are not like any other carburetor in terms of jetting and air valve numbering. They're totally out to lunch. They have their own system, and only Alphonse Weber understands it, I think.
Really?
Oh, yeah. I have a Weber on my Fiat. The same thing. I'm trying to logically make some changes, but it doesn't make sense. It's not like working on a Holly or a Rochester or anything like that.
Well, I'm going to rebuild it and put it on, and hopefully I'm set right.
All right, I'll be fingers crossed on this end.
Yeah, I got a couple guys that they're Fiat guys, strong Fiat guys, so
Really?
they might be able to
New school or old school?
old school.
Oh, I want to meet those guys, man.
Yeah. Matter
I
of
got
fact,
one of them.
one of the guys here locally, he wants me to do his interior, so I need to get with him this weekend probably.
Get him on the show. Come on, I want to talk to this guy.
Yeah. Yeah, I sure will.
Listen, it was bad enough having an orphan car. I mean, now Pontiac is an orphan car, but it was bad enough growing up having a Pontiac instead of a, I always had Chevys too, but, instead of a Chevy Chrysler, I mean, it was almost like having a Ford.
Yeah.
It was kind of like, you got a what? I'm like, yeah, well, look, at least it isn't an Oldsmobile, because it was, people didn't understand. They didn't drive them too much. So, but try having a Fiat. They're like, what? Like, listen, it's not that big of a deal. It's actually, people are afraid of them. Like, it's a very easy engine and car to work on. It's not.
Is it?
It is. It really is. The problem is the guys, like when these cars were sold here in the country, they didn't have Fiat. They didn't have a dealership network. So at the time, they were sold through, like mine was sold through GC Volkswagen in Amityville. They just piggybacked with certain dealers. And the technicians at the dealerships were never factory trained by Fiat on the systems. So obviously it's Italian, but the alternator is still 12 volt regulated. I mean, everything is still follows the same mechanical rules as everything else. But these guys were like, I don't work on that. I don't know what to do with that. And they got a bad rap because they didn't understand, maybe the finer points of it. They're not hard to work on. They're not. So yeah, whenever I go on a couple cruise nights, there's a couple of Fiat guys, we kind of bond instantly because you got to find out whoever guy. But yeah, they'll be able to help you out.
Yeah. Hey, Bill, I sent you a link in Messenger. I think I did. So check Messenger and see if the link's there. If not, I'll try to send it another way.
If not, we'll send you a phone number.
Yeah, text me your phone number because for some reason it's not coming up in my contacts. It's the weirdest thing, man. I could call somebody, their number's there, and a couple days later I look up their number and I can't find it in my contacts.
Really?
That's weird.
That is true.
Like I know I texted Bill a couple weeks ago. I think I did. Didn't I, Bill?
Maybe that was another Bill. Maybe that's why he never answered you.
No, he did. I talked to him.
Okay.
But I'm looking in my contacts now and it's not there.
Ray.
Yes, Brian.
Before I forget, did you ever get
for my throat? So
I know. I'm the force. No.
I figured that, yeah.
Did you the wheels for your jack?
Yes.
Did you get anything straightened out? I have an old one. Do you want? I have an old one.
About a year ago, I asked the Snap-on guy. I said I have a Snap-on jack, and I brought a wheel. So he goes into this bottom drawer in the tool truck, and he finds a wheel. It was like yellow off a newer jack, and he goes, "Look, I got these. See if it works." And it didn't work. It was No, so I don't have anything. And it's funny. I just used the jack yesterday. Yeah, yesterday, and I found another piece of metal broke. That wheel was falling apart.
Okay. I
would change them both as a pair if I could, but it's like I said, it's a pretty big diameter.
Yeah, I know I have it, but I'll remeasure. But I have a older. I don't know if it was Mako or Snap-on one, but I have a older jack, and it has the bigger shaft, or the bigger bolt size.
This jack was purchased in like 1983. I told you the story about the jack and the dealer and the receipts with the parts and how my Snap-on dealer almost got divorced because of it. That's a pretty good story.
So I didn't know, and before I forgot, I wanted just to ask because I've got a long list. I don't know if you heard at the beginning, but I started my week out for 3 days with no AC in the house.
Oh no! Well, good thing you were at work.
Huh?
Good thing you're at work.
Yeah, well, I had a house full of angry people.
I bet you did. They're all female, so I know. I
So
live that life.
I'm trying to get back in track. I mean, 3 nights of no sleep, and even the dogs were pissed off. You know what I'm saying? So,
Did you see my text about that socket that I need?
13/16.
13/16. It's a short, half-inch drive. It is a Matco. I have a Matco set too, and that one's, and you had gotten me another socket for that set. I think it was a 5/8 a couple of years ago, and now I'm looking in. I was working on the Ford, and the seatbelt bolts are 13/16, the original one. So I wanted to use an impact socket. And I go in there, I'm like, I found a deep socket, but then I'm looking for the short. I'm like, why isn't it in here? And there's so someone borrowed the socket, I guess, and never returned it. And that's why I locked the toolbox down.
That had the part number to start with a C, right? Was that like a C?
I don't know.
I know it's okay.
I have the rest.
I think I got. I think
I don't really care if it's the same part number as long as it's a 13/16 short half-inch drive.
Yeah, it's
good
no
enough.
problem.
Yeah. Hey, Bill.
Hey, how are you guys doing?
All right, Bill and Terry, my man. Look at you.
Terry.
Hey, Terry.
You look a little fuzzy. What kind of screen protector do you have going on there?
Just the light's not just light not on.
Oh, you got the Barry White playing in the background or what?
You see that, right? That's right. My cat.
He thought this was playing in the dark.
Yeah. Oh man.
You got a little Barry White going on, right?
What's going on, fellas? How you guys doing?
Operator.
Yeah, like I said, it's just a matter of hitting the light switch. Hold on a sec, I'll do it.
So
I was cracking up listening to you talk about the seatbelts and thinking about how they do them today now in the cars. I've got a F-150 body in white in my driveway that I'm cutting up. I'm doing a series on how they manufacture all these things nowadays, all this aluminum and mixed material stuff. And you'd be surprised at how they hold the seat belts and how the attachments are. I'll put it in one of these episodes. It's pretty cool.
How do they do it, Bill? What's the
well, basically they use about a 2-inch diameter stainless steel washer, okay, and then they put it inside the sill assembly, the side sill assembly, and they just run a bolt through that, and that's it. I mean, it's really simple.
Where's the threaded portion? Is it the washer?
It's on a bolt on the outside of the washer.
Okay.
And the way they're doing all the bolts and all the nuts, I shouldn't say a nut on the outside of the washer, is they attach them all mechanically now. No welding, no projection welding, no nothing like that. It's all just mechanically, and so it's neat. It's completely different than what we're used to working on with our old cars.
That's interesting. Yeah. Wow. Yeah, and then like I said, now you get the old cars that have been through how many different shops through the years, and you don't know what the last guy did, and now you got to backwards engineer what they did and try and fix it.
Yeah.
And the customer sees the bill, and, why is it so expensive? Well, if you wanted it done right, we had to fix what the last guy did that you saw nothing wrong with because they hit it all.
Right.
I think Terry has the right idea, though. He tears it all the way down.
Yeah.
Yep. You see everything.
Take the guesswork out of it. Even buy it. Buy them with nothing on them. Strip them, whatever.
Yeah, that's a little tenuous though. That because there's always the small parts you need that you got to have either a parts car or you got to have it in there. Because some stuff.
I go to the junkyard. Well, the days of going to the junkyard and finding a Chevelle, or a '69 Camaro. Yeah, that's where I'm going.
Yep.
Yep. YouTube.
That's for sure.
Yeah. I went to a cruise night with my buddy Kevin the other night. He's got a 68 GTO convertible. And I love driving in this car because I tell him it's the exact opposite of mine. Well, it's convertible, mine's not, but his car just rides. It's got that GM float to it. It's quiet. I mean, he's got a set of headers on it with mufflers, but it's fairly quiet. And it floats and it's comfortable. I could go to sleep in that car. And now he redid his dash and he's got all the lights working. He's telling me, my glove box light never worked. He goes, the wire for that and the light, a couple of the lights on the dash, the wires were just off, not connected. He said, so whoever was in there before, He says, I just want a nice original car that no one's ever screwed with. I'm like, yeah, good luck.
Good luck.
Yeah.
But so this week we're going to take my car, and then now we get the antithesis of it. I said, because mine is rough, it's loud, it's firm. It's like, does everything the exact opposite of his. Like,
Nothing wrong with that.
Yours took a little blue pill and his doesn't.
pretty much, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I built mine. His car is pretty much the same as when he bought it. He's done some modifications, and maintenance, but he never rebuilt the car. He didn't have to, and it rides like an original GM. It's not really wallowy. The suspension has been done. He's done shocks and all, but he did coil springs. So, but it's comfortable. It's a nice, comfortable cruising car. When you're my car, you're in, like you're looking around, like something's going on, or something's gonna go on.
Something about to happen.
Is anybody going to the Woodward Dream Cruise this year up in Detroit?
Wow. No.
Oh,
What's the date on that? I might run up there.
It's the 19th. It's always the third. I think it's the 19th. It's the third Saturday in August every year.
That's getting closer to Justin's territory.
It's awesome, man. There's so many cars,
but it's comfortable. It's a nice, comfortable cruising car. Getting closer to Justin's territory.
All right,
it's awesome, man. There's so many cars.
Cruising car.
All right,
That was freaky.
There we go.
Dang, pen don't work.
I'll text you.
I got like 40 pens, none of them work.
Yeah, I wanted to go to that Woodward cruise. But I'm gonna probably go to LS Fest in a couple of weeks. So
okay, it'd be the same time probably.
Yeah,
it's
LS
coming
Fest
right up.
is, I think the 9th, September 9th.
Where is
okay.
that?
Yeah, this is in August yet.
That's gonna be in Bowling Green.
Oh, okay. Okay, that's in Bowling Green.
Yeah,
Ohio or Kentucky?
Kentucky.
Kentucky. All right, maybe I'll make a trip down to the Ford truck plant down there that time, and then that'd be fun to go to.
I know Lewis said he might want to go. You want to go, Lewis?
Yeah. Look, man, just get in the car and go. Don't worry about it. You think too much, man. Shoot, get in the car, hit the gears.
Just don't even plan it. Just go.
Yeah. Hey, if we can't find a hotel, we sleep in the trunk. No problem.
There you go.
Oh man, we gotta get the cookies and milk again.
Yeah.
Easy.
So Terry, what day? What date is yours? Is the LS Fest?
September 9th to 11th.
9th to 11th. Are you gonna drive?
I'm thinking about flying out, man, because I'm just gonna stay one day.
Wow.
Bougie.
Can you do it in one day?
Well, I just want to make a presence felt. Because next year I want to come out there with a car or two. You know, so next year I'm definitely gonna come out with a car or two. But Holly was just like, just come on out. Don't worry about the car. And I was like, all right.
So, go to LS Fest. Come on, man.
That's
first time, man. You would think.
It's in Bowling Green, right?
Bowling Green, Kentucky. Yeah. How far is that from you?
I want to say 4 or 5 hours.
Yeah. See, that's not that bad.
No, I'm not in a bad spot. Like I can get places pretty quick.
Yeah.
Not in a bad spot. Yeah.
Brian was in a bad spot with no AC. That's a bad spot.
That's a bad spot.
But the dog was even hot.
I know. My girl Lulu was not happy.
What was the fix?
Well,
Brian, tell him.
the thermostat had gone out, and it wasn't sending voltage down to a panel in the furnace to kick.
Is yours a millivolt system or line voltage? Do you know?
I don't know. And unfortunately, we're hooked up with our BG&E, our electric company, so that on those high
They cut you
usage
back?
days they cut back, and we're supposed to save money and blah
Right.
blah blah. And so we called them to have them come out and fix it. And of course, he comes out, puts a new one in, and says it's something with the furnace. And the furnace guy said it's something with the AC, and they back and forth. And eventually, they found it was a piece that was part of the AC controller that was bad, and the guy found the fifth wire. I don't know how the fifth wire disappeared overnight, but found the fifth wire, and we got it all back up and running, and we're all happy. So
Now, yeah.
yeah, so
You know what it sounds like to me? How did Norton say it? The armature sprocket was causing interference in the combustion chamber of the flow of the dynafro.
There you go.
well, I don't know. I can't remember. Well, I guess it was Monday night. I mean, Monday morning, Jenny walked down the stairs and said, "Uh-oh." And I was like, "What do you mean, uh-oh?" And she's like, "It's already 81 in the house." And this was, at
6 a.m.
yeah, basically, 6:30 in the morning. And I was like, "I'm going to work."
See you, hon. Gotta go make the donuts.
That's terrible. It wasn't that bad, but close.
Yeah. Now, when you got home that night, that's when you
Oh,
hear
well,
I've been
and the funny part was the first night, of course, I said, don't open the house up, because once you get all that humidity in the house,
yeah.
it's just, 10 times worse,
Right.
and of course, we didn't open the house up. And then on the second night there, it was like 91 in the house or something.
Wow.
And we all looked, and I said, that's it. And I went up, and I have those 1400 CFM fans, and I grabbed a couple of fans, and I started moving air. It dropped 10 degrees in the house.
Oh, that's good.
I finally opened it up, and we got, like I said, but it wasn't fun.
Well, all I can say is I'm glad I didn't pick it this time to come visit you.
Now, what a picture.
Hey, Terry,
got the
it
family.
sounds
Yo, we're
out.
staying in a hotel or something.
Right.
Yeah.
All right, come meet me at the Holiday Inn.
Yeah, I wouldn't go over. I gotta go meet Ray down there at the Marriott.
Right.
Yeah, that wouldn't go
Right.
over too well.
He needs a tool. Let me get
Hey,
delivered.
Terry, it's 7 hours from here, Bowling Green.
Okay, that's
I
doable.
didn't think it was that far, but if you're going there, I can run across 71 and meet you.
Yeah, I'd be going. Takes me about 7 hours. Yeah, we could do that. We could meet. Let's stay in touch about it, because I'd love to go down there.
Or
And I
what
might
road
maybe-
you take? 75?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I can drive over to Toledo, somewhere in there, and
Yeah.
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 look-
It'd be an easy way to go down there. Maybe I can get us into the Ford plant down there where they build the Super Duties and the Expeditions.
Okay.
A lot of fun going in there. Place is huge.
All right. Well, stay in touch on me, because
Okay.
I'll take off, man. I'll go whenever.
Mhm.
See, it's 13 hours from me.
Huh?
13 hours. Yeah.
That's like going to South Carolina.
Yeah.
All right, but look, Terry. See, you're missing the spot here. You can come here, go to Summit, spend the night here, then we'll bounce over to meet Bill and go down.
And you know what? Next year, I know a guy that's got a bus we can stay in.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know too.
Hey, I got a couple air mattresses. We can get you
That's all you did. That's it.
That's good enough.
You know, just say,
That's the luxury
go,
there,
go to,
air mattress.
Yeah, all right.
go to the
Yeah, I mean,
bathroom, take a whole bath, and good to go.
Yeah. Think about doing something like that, Terry. I mean, you got to be back in a day though. So
I don't really have to. I just, I figured, I could see what I need to see in one day and then take back out, because I still got these projects that I got to take care of out here. Ugh.
Well, Bill, I'm down if you want to.
Okay. I'll check it out. See if I can do it.
I might come up and see you on the 19th.
That would be fun.
That's on what, Saturday?
It's on a Saturday, 19th and 20th, I think. If the real day is Saturday, that's when all the TV cameras and everybody are there, and they're recording it. But I like to go down there on like Thursday night because there's not a million people. It's just a lot of hot rods and a lot of classic cars. It's a lot of fun. And you can still walk around and get into restaurants easy enough and park, Yeah. Saturday, there's going to be a million people plus there.
Wow.
All right,
So getting close is hard. You have to walk quite a ways because of the parking.
That's wait a minute. That's next Friday.
Next Friday and Saturday, I think. Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
I'll send you the data out of the info on it.
Okay. Yeah, because I had to get a media pass. Or it's an actual show. I had to get media pass, I think.
It's it's called the Woodward Dream Cruise, and what it is just everybody from everywhere brings their classic cars and their hot rods, their street rods, and they just cruise up and down Woodward Avenue. And it's just like a big outdoor crazy party. It's really cool.
Okay. How far is that? That's in Detroit?
In Detroit, yep.
All right, I have to call some of the fellas. I got some fellas up there, man. I used to do the gumball rallies with.
Okay.
Man, we did a gumball rally from there to Indianapolis.
Oh,
wow.
It was listen, we were 150 miles an hour all the way down.
Wow.
I mean, we were cooking. Lamborghinis, Ferraris, Bentleys, and we were rolling. We had walkie-talkies, man. It was crazy.
That's cool. That's
It
cool.
was a good run.
Yep, sounds like Germany. Fly everywhere, man.
Fly everywhere.
Yep, it's great.
We had a guy in a Volkswagen. He was the spotter car, and he left probably 4 hours before us, and he kept up a good pace, let us know where the police were. But man, that was a fun one. Yep.
Yeah, those guys in other countries, man, like in Germany, man, I don't know how they do it. I went out to Germany once, a few times, and I drove on the Autobahn. I mean, it's one thing to go like 150, 160 miles an hour, but to keep that speed, it's nerve-wracking, man. It's nerve-wracking.
It is. and if you're only going 120 and somebody's coming up at 150, 160, they get there quick. And you got to get over.
They get there quick. They flash you, and you got to get out the way.
Yeah.
And out there, they respect it. I mean, they just like, yo, you slow, you get to that lane,
Yeah.
Well, you have to think, too. You're rolling in big boy Mercedes and big boy Beamers. Rolling in a 300. You know what I mean?
No, there's some serious high-performance cars.
Yeah.
No, even the Volvo wagons, man. I remember I seen a Volvo wagon pass me at like 120. With kid and the dog in the back.
Yeah.
UPS dudes be driving like 90, 100 miles an hour. I'm like, wow.
They don't have many accidents, but when they do, they're bad.
Oh, they're bad. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
But they respect it. It's not like, well, yo, I'm gonna stay in this lane. I want him to go around me. There's none of that. No, they're just
no.
Beep, beep.
On the Autobahn, there is a speed limit, right?
Up until the point where you hit that 100 mile an hour with the cross out, it says 100 kilometers or whatever it is. This is like 100.
Well, actually, they don't have speed limit signs, but they have items or markers that tell you what your speed is. So, like when you come up and you have like telephone poles, it's a certain speed because you're coming into a pedestrian area. And then that's why. So, and then there's different, like I said, markers. They don't actually have a sign, but they do have a limit on when you come up. Our light posts, our telephone posts. They all have those are the speed restrictions.
And the road is smooth. It's not. Yeah. Other than that, it's balls. You see that 100 with the cross? That's it. Go.
Yep. That's right. Yeah, out in the country areas where it's wide open, it's just flying. Yeah. It's so much fun.
Yeah, it's
the roads are nice and smooth. It's not like there's no potholes, man.
Yeah, it's not like Detroit.
No.
Yeah. Yeah, Billy, I'm gonna try to come up. I talk to the chief and high commander. If
okay.
She gives me authorization, I might roll up there.
That's what I got to do. for Terry's for the LS meet. I got to talk to the high commander.
Yeah.
I got
Tyler's
clear
going-
too.
Tyler is going to the Pontiac Fest tomorrow.
Oh, where was that?
I don't know, to be honest. I can't even tell you. I think it's Pontiac Fest or Pontiac something. Nationals. Pontiac Nationals.
Pontiac Nationals.
You just had the GTOAA Nationals. And then there was a Trans Am National. So I guess they're on a roll.
Yeah. Yeah, I gotta get back out, man. My face has not been seen in a lot of places lately.
Pontiac Nationals. I wonder if anybody with a Pontiac will be there.
Yeah, right.
Tyler has the Pontiac symbol cut in his hair and it's dyed red. Yeah. He just came over a little bit ago. I was like, "Oh, you ready for the car show?" Every year, he gets his hair cut.
Summit Motorsports Park. Where is that? Is that in Ohio?
Yeah, that's in close to you. Actually. It's in
Summit?
what do you call it?
Isn't that Norwalk?
Norwalk. Yeah.
Telemandy or something like that.
Oh, is it?
Norwalk.
Okay.
It's like that's about 4 hours from here. Because it's down in the country. You get off the turnpike, man. You gotta go through the woods, man.
Yeah, I know. Ohio and Indiana are like that.
Yeah. I mean, you could if it was a freeway, you get there quick, man. But man, you gotta go through the back roads.
Yep.
Wow,
Yeah, my
that's weird.
Z28 was built in the Norwalk plant.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
No.
That's a nice track out there. I went and seen Ron Capps one year. He was there.
Mhm.
Yeah, nice track.
Yeah. Yeah.
Summit International Race.
So I don't know if you guys noticed, I posted some stuff on the bus that was rusted.
I
Yeah,
saw
I
that
saw
today.
that. I was going to ask you about that. Yo, good job, man.
So here's a demo.
Yeah.
Right here, this section right here, you can't, on the outside, you couldn't see any rust. But when you take up the floor and then you take the panels off, it showed the actual corner.
Yeah.
And it was rotted out on the inside. So I said, okay, I took off the rub rail on the bottom, and then it exposed some more rust. So I cut that piece out, and then it showed some more rust. So before I was done, I cut out a 4x7 section.
Yeah.
That's
And
rust for you.
You did a good job, man. Did you weld that?
Yeah.
You did a great job, man.
Nice. Yeah.
Then the only that part of it had a structure beam there. Only that part was rusted. The rest of it was good. So I cut that piece out. I put it in some angle iron, welded that in, welded a new patch in, did a little body work. It's still not perfect, but the rub rail's going back over some of it. So and a sticker's going there.
Yeah.
Perfect spot for a sticker.
It looks good, man.
Yeah, I'm trying to play.
It looks
play
very
around
good.
with it. You know, messing around with Arco, I watch his videos, man. And when you watch his videos, they make you feel like, oh, I could do that.
Yeah.
He makes you feel confident. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. So messing around
And
with
to
him.
me, that's a good video because, like, you go out there and
Yeah.
you try. I mean, how many times can you swing a bat before you like, holy crap, I got it?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Terry,
Metal,
yours
so
are
you could just, if it didn't turn out good, cut it off, start again, cut it off,
Yeah.
start again.
You know,
Every time you do it, you're going to be like, wait a second, hold on, okay, this worked good. You keep
You learn
that.
something every time.
Yeah.
Yep.
And eventually,
that's a great way of thinking of it, but I'm a little more pragmatic about it. And I always tell myself, you know, just like with sports or anything that you do, music, I always keep myself under a bar and say, you know what, at some point you may just hit the bar that's what you're capable of. And even though you want to be better, maybe this is what you got, you know? So I never, because I've done that before. I've always said, yeah, I'm going to ace this. And then as hard as I tried, I couldn't do it and said, hey, That was my ability. So now I try to keep low expectations, I guess.
Hey, there's always
Yeah.
Bondo.
Oh yeah,
Bondo.
I don't play.
Mondo and duct tape.
I'm
Yeah,
building the
I'm-
ski bucket, and I swear I'm not going to put any Bondo in this sucker at all. I'm building the body by hand. I'm doing everything by hand, and I'm not going to. I'm going to make it as clean as I can. Let's put it that way.
That's yeah, good.
What's the newest? Bondo is old. The new thing is spray foam.
Yeah, right.
Oh my god, I saw someone do that.
You just spray it in the hole, let it come out. You take a razor blade, slice
Carve
it
it
down,
off.
sand it, and you're good to go. You use less Bondo. All I gotta do is use what's that spot putty? Whatever, just
Filler.
filler, just a little spot putty, and you're good to go. Less weight, don't have to worry about it.
Yeah, I saw a guy do that when he fixed his quarter panel. I'm like, holy crap.
Yeah.
You probably spend
Well,
more
they all-
time trying to trim it.
Yeah, well, I had a cousin that had a Mustang too, and she loved it, but she was trying to sell it, and of course the quarter panels were completely rotted out in it, and so her mom, my aunt, said, "Take it over to Brian; he can fix it," And I'm not a body man at any point, but I said I can fix this, but you got to remember, we're getting rid of the car. I want you're going, and she's like, yeah, I want to get rid of this and blah. Of course, the famous last words, I want to get rid of it. Of course, they fix it and they never get rid of it.
Now it's too nice.
So I took the Sunday paper and some fiberglass resin
Yeah, baby.
and ran it through and laid it on the quarters. And then it was sky blue color and got some spray can and sprayed to paint it down, buffed it up. It was all together. You could read the Sunday paper from the inside of the trunk, but it was all together. So, of course, she loved the car. So, of course, what happened? She kept the car.
Yeah.
So about 6 months later, after one of those big old ice chunks that stuck on the side of the car fell off, it ripped the quarter panel, the Sunday paper with it. And she brings it back over and says, "Can't you fix that?" And I'm like, "No, because we were supposed to get rid of the car." So
Now we need the New York Times.
yeah. So yeah, we need a little stronger paper that post didn't hold up. But you can always do the fiberglass resin and newspaper. That works pretty good. Paper mache.
Yep.
It was a Mustang too.
Yeah.
The coupe or the hardtop or the hatch.
The coupe.
I like the hatch. I ain't gonna lie. I didn't mind. Charlie's Angel Cobra. I didn't mind that. That was all right car for its day.
Yeah, this was just the bottom of the barrel 4-cylinder. I think it was probably a 75, maybe a 76.
That's about the year.
Yeah. So
That's
Box
the
body
car.
came out, I think 77, 78.
Isn't that the car that Block used on that the all-wheel drive? What's his name?
no, Ken. That the all-wheel drive Mustang is the Hooligan is 65.
Oh, 5. Wow, okay.
Okay.
It's a 65, 66 body style.
Oh, that one that he was going through like a
LA.
abandoned
Los
town and
Angeles.
all that, just beating
Yeah.
the hell out that car.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That car has had so many changes because it started out, it was fuel injected, like a Weber, downdraft, and then he put two twin turbos on it, and he's done a lot. That car is unbelievable. I can't get over. I think it's something like 16 or 1800 horsepower.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
That's so sweet when he's starting out just chained up in the garage.
Yeah.
That is sweet.
Like I said, for an all-wheel drive car to do that and stay together, that's that's a lot of.
Well, I think it's obvious it's Mustang and body skin only.
Oh yeah. I mean, that's a lot. The times that my '87 Quattro they had a manual switch, and you could lock in the hubs. And I mean, the car would pull you out of anything. I mean, it would climb right up a wall, but trying to take a turn in it, it felt like you were ripping the car apart. And I can't tell you how many people, not knowing, would turn that switch, and then the car would like try to pull itself, and of course they get towed in. And you go out there, flip a switch, charge them the $120 for fixing their car. And they did away with that switch the next year. You didn't have the manual lock in like that, but
I guess they figured that if it was used wrong, the car would just end up in quattro pieces. That's why they named it that way.
Yeah, but for that to get all four wheels spinning like that, it's a lot of work to overcome that on an all-wheel drive. So I give them a lot of credit for that car.
Yeah, they did a good job. We had another video where they dropped him out of a helicopter in a Baja truck.
Yeah.
He's delivering beer to the beach.
Yeah, they did the same thing, or they did one over in London or whatever with that, going through London and all that stuff.
The real windy road.
And all that through the Queen's Palace and all that stuff. They went all through.
I see that one wasn't as good as the other two. The other two, man, were really popped up.
Oh yeah, well,
every year they premiere at SEMA outside of the big Ford booth. But Ford ain't gonna be there.
Yeah.
I heard.
Yeah, well, I heard that. I don't think he's with Ford anymore.
No.
I don't think he. I can't remember, but I think I remember reading something on his website that I don't think he's with Ford anymore.
Hey, I wanted to say, people on Facebook Live, for some reason, your comments aren't coming up here where we can see it here. So, but my man Jim is on the mission.
Cards and letters go to Jim LaStella. P.O. Box 1345.
That you're supposed to tell, like that Krusty the Clown guy or whatever on the back in the day when he told everybody to go to his mom's their mom's purse and grab a $5 and mail it in
that
or
was
whatever.
Soupy Sales who did
Yeah,
that.
I know, but I'm just trying to add a little newer cultural. Nobody knows who Soupy Sales is. Come on.
I do.
I do.
Well, I'm trying to keep the crowd kind of young. They say Krusty. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
Even Krusty's 20 years ago.
I know. That even kind of ages me a little. I mean, yeah. So
yeah.
I don't think there is any new clowns, are there? Other than the Joker, right?
Yeah.
And
so, Brian, are you going to SEMA? Brian, are you going to SEMA?
Me?
Mm-hmm.
I'd love to go to SEMA, but I'm not allowed.
Why not? Just tell her you're going to get a pack of cigarettes.
Yeah, and then you know what would come after that? It would be like, take the trash out and don't come back. That's how that would end.
Yeah.
I had a friend, acquaintance. That's what his dad told him. He said, take the trash out and don't come back. So keep on walking it.
Wow, that's cold.
Hey, take her on a hot date. Take her with you.
Yeah.
All that money you got, you can afford it.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Okay.
We
Keep
all know
talking,
you two
Lewis.
guys racking over hand and fist, so we know you guys are,
Yeah.
fortune.
That is true. Yeah.
Bill, are you going to SEMA?
No, I won't be going. No, I'd like to, but I don't think this year it would be in the cards.
No.
Yeah, I wish, but
Ray, you have no more excuses.
Yeah, I do. I haven't gotten a pension check yet. I'm still living off my savings, so I don't have an income right now. So,
All right.
so no.
Yeah, how much longer is that going to take, Ray?
I was on the phone today with them again. They threw another curveball at me. I can't work adjunct if I'm going to draw from my retirement account. Like what? So there's all sorts of shit going on. So I have to commit to things before other things can happen. And I'm trying to hedge my bets and wait and see what happens. And
Wait a minute. You said you have a savings?
yeah, And my wife reminded me how it's dwindling.
Yeah.
Man, what does that mean? Savings? I don't know what that means.
Yeah.
That's a
That
funny
That was
word. That's a
Arco. He
funny
says, "What's
word.
up to everyone?"
Hey,
Who?
Marco.
Arco.
Oh yeah.
What up?
Yeah,
Is
I told
he
him, get on.
watching?
He's like, "No, I'm busy doing some work." I was like, "Yeah, you suck."
I'm gonna send him a text. I get to talk. I talk to him every morning.
Yeah.
He's a good guy.
He is. He's
You
really
see-
become a great friend.
He sends me videos. Matter of fact, hold on. I'm gonna show you a video that he sent me today.
Okay.
You know, he sends me videos. Just a cruise in the yard. Look at all the 56 Bel Airs. Oh well, I gotta go. You know.
I saw
It's like,
that.
there's 1, 2, 3, 4, and those are the ones in bad shape. You know, I'm like,
Yeah, I know it. I know it.
Hey, he's also selling a, I think it's a '68 Lincoln Continental with the suicide doors.
Suicide doors. The 60. I think it is 68.
Was it 66 they had the suicide?
Yeah.
There was a
Huh?
Long Ranger. My buddy just bought a
69.
62 that has suicide door.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
it's like from 60 is it 61 or 62 to 60
Nine.
Is it 9? Is that late? Yeah.
I remember they also had the Thunderbirds with the suicide doors.
You know what? I've seen one. There's one I ride by it every day on my route. It's a 4-door
Really?
with the suicide doors. And I couldn't.
Thunderbirds came with suicide doors. You can get a
Yeah.
Thunderbird suicide door.
Now, what year is
Like, I
that?
think it's 60. I think. Well, hey, we've got the web right here. Hold on.
Oh yeah,
Listen,
you got
that
all
is
the
a-
information right there.
Yeah.
That is a nice looking car.
I think around 65 they had suicide doors.
No,
Because I couldn't figure out. I couldn't figure
no,
out what
65 should be a 2-door.
Okay.
this one.
They didn't have a 4-door?
This one I see is a
Come on,
4-door.
Brian, you're the Ford guy.
I know. I'm terrible at that.
Maybe
68.
I'm wrong. Maybe they're in Thunderbird. I'm thinking it is though.
No, Arcos is a Lincoln. Yes, Arcos is a Lincoln. But the suicide door Thunderbird. Here it is, right here. Let me get a picture of it. God, this is an ugly car. I mean, sorry, it's Ford. There you
I
go.
bet you I'm thinking. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a nice.
What
looking
year is
car.
that? It's like 68, 70?
That's 68.
I did not know they had that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
One of my sister's friends. What's it called? She had one. And I was
One
like,
of
what
your
the-
sister's
I was
friends.
about 17,
What you
18,
call her?
you know?
What was that? What was that description there? That was kind of a
One of my
sketchy
sister's
sketch.
friends. No, one of my
Oh,
sister's
the way-
friends.
I don't know what kind of street talk that was, but that was a little sketchy the way you laid that out there.
Yeah, I
My
caught that too,
sister's
yeah.
friend. I had a sister.
Don't
She had
clean it
friends.
up now, mister. You were caught. All right. That
There's
was
a sister's
something
friend.
going on. Okay.
There's nothing going on. She didn't want me.
Yeah.
Now, let's see. Arco suicide door Lincoln. I got a video of it. Hold on a sec. Let's see.
Yeah. It might be a little earlier. It might be a 65 somewhere in there.
I don't know. I think it's a 66, I think.
I don't know. Most of them were most of the ones I've seen of all the ones that I rated and took them hearts off were all 2-doors. I've never seen a 4-door that had it been late.
He
I
didn't
thought
mention
it
it,
was
but-
later.
By the way, Lincoln Continental suicide back.
But there he is.
Yeah, he don't say the.
There it is,
year
right
on
there. That's the one that he got.
Yeah.
That's the post Kennedy one.
Yes.
Yeah,
Kennedy
so
was
that's-
63. Kennedy was 63. And so I think that's a 66.
Yeah.
I think that's a 66.
But it's a
'Cause I had
rolling
a
chassis.
63.
Yeah, it's a rolling
I had a
chassis. So,
63. No love for the car though. I wish I still had it though.
oh yeah.
Yeah, someone paid me a lot of money to get rid of that car, so I was like, it's got to go. You know,
I hear you.
and
But,
there's no love for the
that's a
car.
hot
I was
car.
like, it's all right. Yeah.
Did you see Jesse James 64 Impala? He did
No.
a blue one. He did a blue one, man. It's tough.
Oh, just recently?
Yeah. Convertible. It's tough.
64 Impala.
Yeah.
Over on
Yeah,
Facebook, Brian took a look at Arco's Lincoln and says it's a 68.
68. Okay.
68?
Yeah, I knew it was somewhere around there. But he says it's pretty clean. It's a rolling chassis. He don't know how much he wants for it yet. But if you know anybody might be looking for one.
68 four-door Lincoln Continental. Yeah, it could be. Yeah. Let me see what a 66 looks like. 66. Because they probably, like all look
So
the
it
same.
says here from 67 to 71 was the last, it was the available version for a four-door Thunderbird. And
what year?
From 67 to 71.
Okay.
And 66 was the last year for a convertible Thunderbird, and it did not appear back until 2002 when they came out with those mini birds.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Hey guys, unfortunately it's past my bedtime, so I gotta get out of here.
okay,
Jim,
past your
appreciate
bedtime.
Thanks,
Take
Tim.
care.
Thanks
Yep,
a lot,
good
guys.
night.
Take care.
All right,
All
take it
All
easy.
right, Jim.
Jim
Take
looked like
care.
he
Be
lost weight.
safe.
He's Slim Jim.
Easy now. Because it'll find me. That's the problem. I keep losing it. Good night, guys.
All right, see you later.
Take care.
And it looks like all the four doors, they look like they were all suicide. The different
really?
pictures are all the image from 67 to 71 here. They're all
not know.
suicide.
I didn't even know they were four doors.
Yeah.
I seen that car. I seen it on my route, and I'm like, man, is that a Thunderbird? And I seen the back of it, and I seen the bird. I'm like,
Mhm.
wow, it's a four-door suicide Lincoln or Thunderbird.
Hey, my
The
FJ
taillights were cool back then.
My FJ's a four-door suicide door.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's got suicide on your FJ?
Yeah, two side back doors open up that way.
They're suicide. So the back seat passenger cannot get out unless the front seat passenger opens their door to open the back door. They don't.
Yeah, okay.
But it's a suicide door.
Yeah.
What year is that, Ray?
It's an 08.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like the trucks. The Fords that had that too. The same thing, right?
Yeah.
The half cabs or whatever they were.
Yep.
Sport cab or half cab or not a full, crew cab.
I think they call it extended. Yeah, extended cab.
That's right.
Now, you know where Ford messed up is when they brought out the new Lincoln Continental. They should have made it a suicide door car.
That would have been cool.
I agree.
Man, I think they would have sold a lot of those. This is a nice looking car, but man, they should have put the suicide doors on it. Yep.
There might be some type of safety issue with those doors. That's probably why they stopped it.
Oh yeah, of course, dude. A lot of cars had those, had the doors, on the front A-pillars. They open up that way.
All right,
and of course, when you watch those classic accident things of, when they hit something, a door fall out, the car ran over you because you fell forward instead of falling backwards out of it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
the best ones are watching the German ones because the Germans use real people on ramps and they build. So watching like Mercedes crash test dummies, they were real people. They had real people driving, and they would drive down the road and they would have like the Dukes of Hazzard ramp, to roll the car over down the embankment. And then show the car, and the guy would get out and like straighten his hair out and dust them off. They're awesome. That's a good.
Have another car for him to drive.
You could kill 3 or 4 hours on YouTube on that right there. So,
that's where the crash dummy came from.
Yeah, I know. Those are always the factory films. And then if you really want, what is that? The Audi. What was that race car? Damn it.
Not thinking of the TT, are you?
No. That was a death car. That car. No, I'm talking about the 19. This is like the Audi, what was that? AU, the auto, what was that thing? Auto Union. Shit. But this is back in the 40s or whatever. This was a 12 valve straight cylinder. And watching those videos and those guys racing those cars are unbelievable, and the sound that car had. But I don't want to geek out on you guys about German stuff. But
I got to think about that name. I've got my picture taken with that when I was in Germany at the Audi plant, and got they call it like Auto World or something. They couldn't call it Motor City because of Detroit, right? And that's what they wanted to call it. So we beat them at that too. But anyways, they have like a museum there. You got Audi, you got Lamborghini, you got Porsche, you got VW, you got all of those brands that are under one umbrella, and they'll have like cars like that particular one you're talking about in a big glass case outdoors, and they have like a campus that's kind of between all of those different manufacturing areas, and you can go and see, and they have a building for every division. You can go in and watch a video and a movie and ask the people questions, that are hosting it. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, those were something. And like I said, listening, there was a guy that was he's restored a couple of them, and watching him start those things up is it's pretty interesting. And they sounded pretty tough the way they were, but they can only run the videos.
Got a question. Every Audi I see has problems.
Of course. It's German engineering. It's job security. It's awesome.
It's unbelievable.
So you take that Audi engine and put an LS in it.
A lot of people are doing that. And there's one across the street from me. I've had my eye on it. I know it's a bad motor, and I'd like to buy an LS.
Yeah, I'm just waiting for an Audi SR5, right? The sports version of the 5, to come in with like a blown engine.
Yeah,
a blown drivetrain. Drivetrain is blown. I would love to get that and swap an LS in that thing with a 6-speed.
Now, Sam has one from Sam's Garage.
I saw Sam's doing. Sam is he's a Noki guy.
Big boy. I mean the big one, right? So we're
A8 is it A8?
Yeah, and we took it for a ride, man. That car is a monster.
They're fast.
He said, "I don't care if it breaks down because I can fix it." So he got it for a good price. He said it was like $150,000 car, but he got it way cheaper because people were scared of it.
Well, usually the biggest problem with those cars was
the caliper bolts.
Well, not the Well,
remember that?
Yeah, when it tells you to use a certain fluid for power steering, and everybody says, "Oh, all power steering fluid's the same," and you pour the wrong fluid in, and you have nothing but problems because when this component fails and you replace it, if you don't flush out the fluid, and unfortunately, like my Audi takes mineral spirits. I mean, it's a mineral spirit, and people used to pour regular ATF in there, and it would eat everything out. And so you're constantly chasing, because then the rack would go, and then the hoses, and they would piece us, and they're like, in a year and a half, I've spent $1.2 million, and I've replaced everything in the steering system 4 times. And it's like, well, remember at the very beginning, we told you got to replace everything and flush everything out, because once that fluid's in there, it just eats it all up. It's kind of like the British sports car, and you're supposed to use .5, and everybody puts .3 in it, and they have nothing but brake problems.
Yeah.
So, or you take a Jaguar that has a Lucas ignition, electrical system on it, and they put a Bosch system, they put a Bosch alternator on it, and they wonder why they have all kinds of problems. So if you stick with what it's got and kind of work around with what it has, you can do it. But most of the time, everybody's changing something to the wrong piece and part and have all kinds of problems.
That makes sense.
And again, I got a guy that has a 968, and I told him, hey, look, you want me to do the timing belt? This is what you're going to need. This is what you're going to do. And he goes, well, is there any way we can do this cheaper? And I said, well, not on my watch, because once you're in there and you don't fix this or take care of this, if that one component fails, if a $49 roll tensioner fails, you wipe out the motor.
Yeah.
I mean, it bends valves.
Mhm.
And some people want to gamble, and like we said earlier, when you try to beat the system, to save a nickel, it costs you a dime. So
Yep.
But
Really not worth it.
So
what
they're
was that?
beautiful cars inside. I'd like
Oh,
to
yeah.
get one and MLS it.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'll tell you, at the shop, I serviced an A6, and the same guy had an A8, and that A8 was supercharged. Let me tell you something. It had the best brakes in the world, and I could have had either one of them. Because every time that A6 came in, the right front wheel was just chewed up. The tire was chewed up. The rim was. This guy must have just aimed for curbs, and he would just keep replacing the parts. But both of those cars had these oil leaks and weird things, and I'm looking it over and like, man, this is not easy. That A8 was not easy to service.
Mm-mm.
But beautiful car to drive. Old Burrow.
Fun to drive. Yeah.
Oh, what a beautiful and fast and quiet. And said the brakes were phenomenal.
Yep.
So
We've got the Audi Tech Center for North America right next to our Tech Center.
no.
And you get to see a lot of really cool stuff come in and out of there. I never get to get in there, but you see some really neat cars coming in and out of there,
Yeah,
Just wondering what they're doing back there on those things.
yeah. I missed like I said, when I went to training and to school, because you saw a lot of interesting things, and they, like I said, and again, those cars, even in the old day, like today, they are so far ahead, or so the advanced and stuff, that that's another problem, trying to keep up.
Mhm.
Working on, we already have the problem, but I see it at the Ford dealership with all the Mach-E's in there, those electric cars, dude.
Yeah.
Those guys have no idea. It's nothing against them. They just have no idea on, and they're constantly on the phone with Tech Center, and it's almost like this check, all right, replace. And when the part finally comes in, it's either yay or nay, and those cars sit there forever.
So, Brian, let me ask you this. How are you'd say, okay, well, that's making jobs for the Tech Center guys. But how are the Tech Center guys knowing how to answer the questions if they haven't worked on the vehicles?
Well, they have the, this is the factory Tech Center guys. I mean, these are the guys that built the car.
Okay.
And
that's
they
different.
tell them where they need to look. And
That's a little different. I didn't realize it was factory. Okay.
yeah,
they have
factory thing.
Ford has a pilot plant, which is where they build all of their prototype vehicles, and they have those guys in there all the time learning the vehicles. They did the same thing when they switched the F-150 to aluminum. They're in there all the time.
Yeah.
And the funny thing about that Mach-E is I talked to a lot of the people. They give a lot of their executives, hey, drive this for a year and let us know what you think.
Yeah.
Well, everything they've told me is not so good. It's a cool car, but the battery life is terrible, and
Hey, our police department, Montgomery County Police Department, they bought 200 of those Mach-E's that are supposed to be police cruisers, and they can't use them because they need more power to run all the external equipment.
Exactly.
We have over 200 school buses sitting here. School starts in 2 weeks or whatever. We got over 200 electric buses sitting down here, and we have no place to charge them. So
that's the.
I mean, we're not ready for this technology. Yeah, you got to be ahead and work on it, but
No,
we're really
but the government is telling us that we are.
Yes.
So it's amazing, and at the end of all that, the part I don't mind the improvement or the movement forward on that, but the problem is we're the ones paying for that. It's just a scrap pile of stuff sitting there. Instead of taking care of other things, we have
buses.
$2 million worth of buses sitting there that
and
it's bad enough. Like I started out saying, shit, we can't even hire. We're over 200 teachers short for the school year. We're over 100 and some people short for even driving buses. I go to two of the 4 or 5 there. I think there's 5, but I go to 2 of the repairs, bus depots for the county, and they've cut they used to have 6 guys on a shift, and they're down to 1.5, and they can't even make a full shift on, to keep them 24 hours. And, these guys said there's no way they can get these buses ready.
Yeah.
They're so shorthanded.
You know what that is? The school districts got budgeted money, and there was probably an incentive deal to go electric. So they took advantage of it. They bought the buses without ever thinking about how they're going to be serviced or charged. They figured, well, that'll be the next. Well, they'll give us more money later.
Yeah.
That's probably what it is.
But it's crazy.
Yep.
My buddy that's a police officer was telling me, and it just dumbfounds me that that they and of course that stuff doesn't get talked about, and nobody
Well, it's always the school I just retired from. A couple of years ago, they built a new building, and it's a green energy building. They got all sorts of green energy credits for it, for the HVAC and different things, and that's fine. And then I noticed late in the construction, like 3 EV charging stations showed up in our lot, in the faculty lot. And I questioned a few people, like, why are they there? What was the thing? How'd that happen? And they said, well, there was another incentive that the college was able to get if they had charging stations within X amount of feet of that new building. So they even like subsidized the station, so the college didn't pay for them. So they said, okay, we'll dedicate 3 spots. You put them in, and they get the tax benefit from it, the credit. So and they never made that public.
No.
And that's not the worst thing that could happen, obviously, but it's just another example of all the things that happen without anybody telling anybody about.
Yep.
I'm just nosy enough to ask.
Yeah. You know what else is going to be a big change? They just announced this the other day, is that all of the, everybody wants to have a 5-star rating for their car safety, right?
Right.
Well, on average, all these electric cars are going to be 3,000 pounds heavier than they were when they were gas engines.
Oh, good.
There's not a car out there that'll hit a 5-star rating now. So that whole rating system's got to be changed.
Yeah, and they'll probably just modify it to fit their needs.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
That's how it works. Hey,
wow.
There's a saying like that. If the rules don't fit, change the rules.
Yep.
Something like that.
A lot of changes coming, man. That's why they're working on these ultralight and ultra high strength steels, because you've got to take some weight out somewhere, because the batteries are just killing them. Yeah.
Hey Brian, what's the zip code down there?
Zip code where? My area? 208. 20868.
I'm saying what they pay drivers down there.
Oh.
And I even, like I said, I even did a video when I rented that Tesla. I was like, we're not ready.
We're not.
This is a cool second car, but we're not ready, because, like I said, everything you do on that car drains power. You roll the window, you're draining power. You turn the radio on, and you can't replenish it like just starting the car and replenish that power. You can't.
Right.
You know, the only way you can replenish the power is you got to get a charge.
Yep.
And
that takes time
in that car. Even just turn the laptop. I mean, it's draining some type of power. And I don't care what anyone says. These cars, I really feel that when they test these cars out and say, "Oh, this car gets 300 miles to the gallon, 300 miles on a charge," I think they do it in the most perfect environment with no air. They put the car on rollers and see how long it takes, because there's no possible way. There's no because everyone does that. I mean, even when they sell high performance parts, they do it in the most. This K&N filter can give you an extra 50 horsepower, but it's in cold air with cold gas, the most optimal conditions for that car to get the most.
You know, and that's when they're not lying. They're just not telling you the whole truth.
They're not telling the truth, because there's no way those Teslas on the charge. The one that I had, I charged it fully, left the place on a Tesla charging station, charged it fully, drove it, I think 10 miles, and it was at 93%. I left it 100. There's no possible way. And it wasn't like I was beating on the car. I was just driving the car. It wasn't like I was gassing it or electrocuting it. I was just driving the car home, and it drained down to 7%, drained 70% for only 10 miles. And I'm thinking, okay, fine. If you do the arithmetic, there's no way in hell.
Yeah. They just did a comparison drive with the Ford Lightning. Okay. How many miles do they say it gets on a full charge? Like 300? I don't know, something like that. So they set that up side of a brand new Sierra. Okay. GMC Sierra. Full tank of gas, full charge. They put identical trailers on the back of them, empty but big, pretty good sized trailers. And they said, okay, we're going to drive from point A to point B, which was like 185, 190 miles away. The Ford made about 85 miles and had to get off because there were no other charging stations, and they still had like 15 miles left, maybe. I mean, that's scary.
Yeah.
That's scary.
Yeah. And then
you're not really saving the earth. You're not really doing anything really, because you're just trading one evil for another.
Yeah.
Battery production. Yeah. Just the way you have to make those batteries and the facilities needed. They don't talk about that either.
No.
Right.
No. My wife, she's all gun ho. She wants to get an electric car. She thinks she's saving the earth. But I was just like, I said, I don't, like when my friends who work at dealerships, they say, we got to set these cars off by themselves because they catch fire. They catch fire. He says, 30% of the people who buy them turn them back in and want a regular car.
Yeah.
They said,
they don't understand. It becomes a lifestyle now. You have to that's what I listen to that Give Me the VIN guy, John Clay Wolf show on Saturday mornings, Saturday mornings. And he's one of the largest used car buyers. He has the largest used car market around, and he said he's buying those cars left and right because people got on the bandwagon, bought them, and realized, hey, I don't even have the capabilities at my house to put in a charger to charge the car.
Yeah.
No.
We don't. I don't have the change, and if I do have to use the extension cord on there,
Takes forever.
It takes 15 hours, and if you forget to plug it in the night before, and you got to go to work, dude, you're done.
Yeah,
that's what I told my wife. I told her we're not ready for it, and she says that she still wants it. I said, if you go out and you get this electric car, you're on your own. There's no waking me up 3 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah. It's a new lifestyle.
There's no waking me up 3 o'clock in the morning. I forgot to charge the car and be like, going out.
No, you'll be put out. You'll be taking it to work.
Yeah, don't be talking.
And I'll be like, no, you're not taking the Trailblazer. No, you're not taking the ZL.
Oh yeah, don't be talking traffic.
No,
she's not home right now, is she?
Stopping off at 7-Eleven or Starbucks. Doesn't watch this show either.
Yeah, she's upstairs.
I'm sitting here telling her, that the disadvantages of it. I'm telling her, and she saw me when I was out in California. I rented it. She saw me every night pulling that cable out, charging it up, and everything like that. She saw this, and she's listening to like someone like Neil deGrasse Harris, like, oh, electric cars are the way of the future and all that. But I said, I guarantee you that guy's driving an Escalade. I guarantee you,
no doubt.
He's not just
Actually,
driving. He's told.
He's not driving it. He has somebody driving it for him.
Exactly. So it's not like this is his only car. No, you can't listen to these people like, oh, these electric cars are great and all that, because I guarantee you they got more than one. It's a luxury. It's a luxury. And God forbid you get stuck on the highway with that thing, like you're rushing because like I see how you doing with your gas. You leave it to the E, what's gonna leave it to the E, and what's gonna happen is you can't just go and just tow this thing off. I mean, you gotta have special equipment. You gotta what's it called? You can't just go in. The guy can't just bring a bag of electric and pour it in.
Right. Pour it in, right?
No. So
what would make sense? Why don't they work on the hybrid technology more? So you've got gas to back you up. The charging, it's important, but it's not as important. And let's work our way up to this. But I don't know. But I want gas.
Say, if you have to do something, get a hybrid. Rent.
That's right.
A hybrid. Lease that.
Well, hybrid. That's it.
Because if you have to go and jump and say, you know what, we gotta go down to Maryland. It's like 4 hours away. You can't take the electric car.
No.
You're stopping off.
My 69 Z28's a hybrid. It's got an Optima 12-volt car battery and a 302 Chevy.
There you go. There you go.
My 65 GTO is
that's as close as I'm getting.
Well, my 65 GTO is a hybrid too. It burns gas and rubber.
Yes. Yeah, there you go.
Trailblazer, all of them. ZL1, that's all electric. That's a hybrid. I like that.
Hey guys, I got to get off. I got to be at Ford early in the morning, but thanks for letting me come on tonight. I appreciate it.
Oh, Bill, listen, anytime, bro.
All right.
Yeah, it was great talking to you.
Yeah, good talking to you guys. I'll catch up with y'all later. Take care.
Right. Bye-bye. I'm going to get off myself too. I got to go to bed. I got to wake up early myself.
Yeah, me too.
I don't know if I saved the picture, and I'll probably never find it, but there was a picture of a guy saying that he had done his conversion, his electric motor conversion to his car as a hot rod. I don't know. It must have been a Camaro maybe or something. But
you're right. It's a hot rod.
Yeah. Yeah. A real hot rod. But it showed the picture was a RC10 pocket rocket electric motor taped to the spline of the transmission with a 9-volt battery plugged in, and he said the electric conversion was done on the car. I just thought that was a pretty funny picture. I'll see if I can find it again. I don't know if
it's very simple to do.
Yeah, I mean, tape on a pocket rocket motor, and you're good to go. That was the hot motor back in the RC10 electric cars back in the day.
All right, guys. I'll see you next week. How to jump off.
All right, Lewis.
Okay, Lewis. Take care. How's the little one? How's the little one, by the way?
Doing good. Doing good.
Yeah, that's good.
Yep, he's a joy. My wife's going to spend the night tomorrow night.
Yeah,
I'll go up there Saturday.
Kids love his wife. I know my son does.
Yeah.
Within 5 minutes of meeting the woman, he was like laying on her.
She's almost on their level. That's why.
Oh man, I'm gonna head off myself too, man. I gotta get off.
Yeah.
Take care, Joe.
All right, guys. I'll see you next week.
Okay,
right,
guys. I wish I saved that picture because it was kind of funny.
And then there were two.
That's it. What happened to Justin tonight?
I don't know. We got a better deal up there in Michigan.
Yeah.
Hey, I want to run something by you, Brian. I had this on my radar. I mean, I'm still funking in a big funk over our losing our friend, Johnny. So I'm rethinking life.
Uh-oh.
And something popped up again on Instagram today that I said, you know what? and now they're having a sale. It's the Quick Jack.
Oh yeah.
So they're running a special now. It was like $1,500 now. It's $1,100, and you get the extra kit with the pinch weld things and the other thing. It's like something about just pulling the trigger and buying this thing. Any thoughts? Have you ever seen them in use? No.
I have seen them, and they are really nice. They're not. I don't want to use the wrong word here. They're not super sturdy. I mean, it's not like I mean, I wouldn't want to leave a car on them.
Well, that isn't the intent.
Yeah, you know what I'm not saying it's not I don't want to use the word industrial strength. I mean, I have
right.
I have seen them in action, and I have seen guys have them, and they are very functional, and they're good. They are movable, so they're not.
Well, the thing I like is they're separate ramps.
Yeah,
and you can take them and you hang them on the wall, so you could use one or two. And like you said, they're not, you're not going to be lifting tow trucks and flatbeds, but I'll give you a quick example. Just the other day, today's Thursday, Tuesday, I went with my wife shopping. We did food shopping in the morning, and then I was going to go down to the shop for the Mustang. So, okay, it was like 95 degrees, hot, just like it was by you.
Yeah.
And we're in a cruise, her car. We're coming back, and of course, I got a full load of groceries and two half gallons of ice cream in the car. And the store she likes to use is like, it's straight down the road for me about maybe, I don't know, 6 miles. It's not the one in town. But anyway, we're coming back, and all of a sudden I noticed like the AC got a little warm. I remember it did that about a week ago at a light, and then it came back, and I was like, okay, so I hit it with a little AC charge. The hell's that company I've been using?
Like the can, right? The yeah, I know what you're talking about.
The big one. Anyway,
with the pistol grip thing with
yeah. So anyway, the AC dropped down, and then it like didn't come back. It was still warm. I'm like, what the hell's going on now? I said, maybe I got a clog in the system. Like, oh yeah, the condenser's probably falling apart from the inside out, and I'm gonna have like $1,000 repair bill. So we drive a little more, and I'm looking, and I say, holy shit, look, the battery light is on. Like, why is the battery light on? Like, that's not right.
Yeah, missing a belt.
I cruise it for a little while long. I put the windows down. I pull over into one of the train parking lots. Open the hood. Yeah, the serpentine belt is shredded. It's like, I'm like, okay, we lost a belt. Got it. So I got electric power steering, so I had that, not a problem. And as I'm driving, now the car's giving me the warning: engine overheating, idle the engine.
Yeah.
Like, well, I can't. I want to get home, So I had to stop at a light, and then every time I took off, the car was like almost in like that limp mode. It was like,
yeah.
I feathered the gas, and then the car would go again. Like, okay. So running a couple of lights deep, taking one solid red, I get the car home. Pull in the driveway, open the hood. I said, okay, well, you know what?
Get the ice cream in the house first.
Get that ice cream in the house. Right. Priorities here. I said, and I told her, I said, the only thing I'm just like, I'm sweating a head gasket because these engines are known
right
for head gasket. So I'm like, well, it is what it is. I got nobody to call. We're not walking home. We're getting home. So I said, okay, leave the car where it is. Don't do nothing. I said, I got to go to the shop to work on this car. I'll order a belt and have it delivered to me at the shop. And when I come home tonight, I'll work on it. Yeah. So, of course, it was a 95-degree day. I worked the rest of the day at the shop. I've come home dead. That's when I just want to just go in the pool. But I couldn't because I had to work on her car. So now the problem was I'm looking under the hood. They used to always had the serpentine diagram.
Yeah.
Not anymore. So I'm like, okay, so now I'm not sure the belt. And you can usually figure it out,
Right.
But of course, it's transverse, it's tight. So I fire up the computer. I'm looking on. I actually looked at I looked at a YouTube video. Some Okie was doing it, and I found a diagram. I said, okay, I got it. But I'm watching his video, and I was glad I did because he described, putting the car up off the ground, jack standing it, and then putting the jack under the motor because you have to put pressure on the motor to release the upper motor mount because the belt has to slip through the motor. My good thing I saw that because okay. So that was where this whole problem came in because the car is kind of low. Finding a jacking point, putting the jack stand. Now my jack stands, I'm working at the front of the house and the garage is in the back. Those jack stands felt like they were 100 pounds a piece. Those 5-ton jack stands and the jack. And I walked back, I was just like sloughing my feet. I was like slow motion because I was shot already.
Yeah.
Every tool I had to get. And then I get the jack stands under, I lift it took me an hour and a half.
Yeah.
Now I have done circ belts in 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Literally. Tensioner, belt, lay the new one in, tensioner, boom, done. Not this thing. This cruise, to get it around the idler pulley, they recommended pulling the passenger wheel, taking the fender liner out. I'm like, I don't have to. I can see everything from up top. I couldn't get it between the motor mount and the idler pulley. They put it right under that mount. So I was forced to take the fender liner out, take the wheel off. I'm like, and now the sky's getting dark. There's thunder coming in. I'm like, oh, God. So it took me. Oh, the other thing, just while I'm venting, the bolt on the tensioner, they said it was an E14.
Yeah.
So the first thing I said is, those freaking E-sockets I bought from Brian, they're in my toolbox at the shop. Oh my God, do I have them? Do I even have them at home? Well, yeah, I had another set here because I luckily double up on most everything I own. But the 14, it kind of slipped and then deformed that E-Torx bolt. I had to put an they don't make an E15. I don't know why.
No, it's every 2.
Yeah. So I had to put a 16 on and I was able to. So what an ordeal. But now my thought was, see, if I had the quick jack, I could have saved all the trouble of the jack stands and all of that. I could have eliminated all of that.
Yeah.
And a simple job.
No, like I said, I know I have not, I've seen them in action. I have never used them or did, but I mean, it's a nice, I think they're not bad.
Yeah, I think I'm pulling the trigger. I'm going to do it.
Like I said, that's been what you described is the biggest problem on half the stuff now. It might only take you 15. It's almost like changing the oil, but it takes you 45 minutes to get the car in a position so that you could take the heat shield, take that shield down and then drain the oil. And then, you spend so much time. And like I said, if you don't have, I don't want to use the word 2 jacks, but if you can't jack the car up,
right.
And it's a pain. It's a pain.
As I was getting into the job, I said, this is the time I would have liked to have had it at the shop and had the lift.
Yeah.
Now, I wasn't going to be able to drive it. So yeah, I think I'm going to pull the trigger on that thing and buy it. Screw it. You know what?
Yeah, it's like 110, right? Power. I mean, does it have any?
Yeah.
I mean, the only thing that I know, like I have the one that I have in my garage is it's from I don't know if it's Coates. I have a half lift. I have a scissor jack.
Yeah.
And it actually.
I was looking at those also. I was looking at I saw them at the trade show, right?
Yeah, and it's like I said, it's because it goes up to like
45.
Is it 45 inches or 48?
The next one goes up to like 73 inches. The big one.
And
I saw my Ben pack that does that. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's
They're
of course.
Those are really cool.
Yeah. Well, unfortunately, me selling them, I got a pretty good deal on it. Sure. I got it at our tool show. I mean, one of our tool shows, and had a deal. And the biggest problem that I had once I got it home, it needed to have a 110 plug, but it had to be 30 amps.
See, this doesn't have the electrical spec on here. It's all about the lifting points. I'll look at the site again tomorrow real close.
So, and it wasn't that big of a deal. I mean, I just had to, because the a 30 amp plug, a 110 30 amp plug is, one peg. Yeah. So
this is really made for home use. So I think it's a regular. I think it's it's all home. But the thing I like about it, I looked at those scissor lifts. I was really going to pull the trigger on one of those too, because I could have got it through my other friend who's in the body shop business. Because we used to go to trade shows in Jersey. But when I looked at it, they had it set up with an SUV on it, and I went under it. And it's like, okay, I can't do a clutch, I can't do a transmission. Not that I'm going to do many transmissions, but I can't do a clutch. You're kind of limited under the car.
Yeah. Well, like I said, unless it's front wheel drive and you got the one end hanging off, you know what I'm saying? But it is.
And then you got tipping load to worry about. But they are, and they're big and they're heavy. But that was really the best answer for home use at the time. Now when these came out, I like it because you can put those ramps wider, narrower. I mean, I could put my Fiat on it. I could put the FJ on it.
Yeah.
So I kind of like it. You could use one of them if you wanted to.
Yeah, no, I've seen them, and like I said, when I did my touchy feel on it, for me, I was like, man, if I have something sitting on it for a while, I just don't think it's going to have the
I'm going to be
longevity of it.
This is going to be strictly service, oil change, or if I want to pull the wheels off, because even now, I'll jack the car up. I know where the center of gravity is. So I'll usually get the jack under that and lift up half the car at a time to pull both wheels off and rotate them when I'm doing it. But still, I'm on my knees. I got the jack. It's like all of that. I'm too old for this, man.
Yeah, no. I mean, like I said, I like them, and I think it's definitely a great improvement on your body. And like I said, if you can get it at the right height and have a roll around stool and working on brakes or whatever, or doing whatever you had to do. I have a friend, and like I said, the guy that I've seen, he likes it because he when he's detailing his car, when he's cleaning it, he jacks it up, he brings it up, and it's not the lean over grunt where it's easier to clean. And I know that sounds kind of whatever, but it does, if it makes it easier and less wear and tear.
Absolutely. No, absolutely. It really is. It's
if you had those the other night, you probably would have saved a half hour right off the bat.
Yes.
Easy, if not more. But
and every time I'm walking with the jack stands, I got the ability to bump into one of the other cars.
Oh yeah.
Or slip or do something, and it's like, I mean, I'm not into wide open spaces. I'm confined like you are. So when I'm in the garage, I'm like in a catacomb over there. So
no, I no, like I said, I've never personally used one, but I've seen them in action. And like I said, the only because I even they make I think it's 24 or 18-foot scissor jack one.
Oh wow.
And that's even a little bit easier to move around. And but again, you had the same problem. You don't have the wide openness like you did because it's connected,
Which is kind of the lift point spread on this. You can put them as 31.5 is the minimum, and the maximum is 60 inches apart. That's pretty good. I don't have anything that wide.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think, what? I just realized something. I got to say, I wonder what the shipping is.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to have to look. Well, like I said, I just looked quick before the show to see, because now they're having a summer sale. So I figured, cash in on the sale. Why not?
Yeah. No, I especially like I said, I think it's good. I mean, they're not super cheesy, or it's
Right.
not. I don't think it's, like I said, for what you want service wise. It just beats crawling around on the ground.
I'm curious if these are made in America or if they're made. Doesn't say, because I'm sure. Like, I know this company's been around a while. It's I know I've seen them, so it looks like a well-made product. So
Yeah,
I think that's.
and I mean, like I said, they probably have they've been around, and they probably have a pretty good support thing. The biggest thing for you, the biggest thing is, like I said, as long as you have the power,
I'm going to double check that. Yeah, I'll double check that tomorrow.
Make sure it's nothing super crazy. Of course, you can always change it, but you got the same problem that I have being in an older house. You're, until I did my heavy up here, I had to do stuff late at night when everybody was asleep.
Yeah.
Because, the TV would get funny, or if they're on the computer, whatever. That was the same even at my parents' house when I had the shop there. I had to wait till everybody went to bed because
that's what happened to me back. I wanted to do something with AC, and I couldn't do central in the house because it's an older house and there's been all sorts of modifications. You can't get through with the ductwork; it just wasn't going to work. I don't have a place for the air handler, so I went with those split systems.
Yeah.
So okay, each one needs a dedicated 220 run. And I decided to use 6 of them. I didn't split any of them. I did every one individual. So I needed 6 220 runs.
Wow.
So I already had, I think I had 100 amp service at the time. So I called an electrician in. He says, okay. I said, look, I need a new panel box anyway because I'm out of room.
Uh-huh.
He goes, okay. I said, so I need a new panel box. I need 6 home runs. He goes, okay, well, then, of course, the job got expensive. He goes, well, I can't put the new box where the old one is. I'm like, why? There's plenty of room. He says, right, you have the room, but it's within. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Okay. Last
night person said she'd be home by 11. That's what.
Okay. I'll call Mom.
Emma doesn't have a key, so you'll have to let her in.
This is what happens. We do get interruptions.
All right.
Everything okay?
Yeah. I got one that's not home yet.
Oh, okay. Okay. All right. You got a stray.
Yeah.
You got a stray. So my problem was the box couldn't go where the old box was because it was within 3 feet of the gas meter. And that's not code. I said, but that's where it was. Why can't you just replace it? He says, no, if you left it where it was, you could keep it because it was like grandfathered in. But if you change it, you have to move it. All right. So now we had to move it down the line, and they did all the other, gave me the 6 runs and all. So now I have the ability. But yeah, every job always becomes something else. It's always something. Ugh.
Yeah, like I said, as long as you have the electric or the capabilities, it should just be. I think they're just 110. Regular stuff.
I believe so. Yeah, I believe so. I watched a video a while ago. One of the YouTubers who does home shop stuff did a video on this, and from unboxing it to setting it up and storing it and all, and I think he just plugged it right into a regular wall outlet. So that's cool. So why do these Mustang guys love these seat belts, chrome belts with the big Mustang emblem on it? What's that all about?
What was that?
I said, why do these Mustang guys love these seat belts with the big chrome buckles and the Mustang emblem on it? It's like gaudy and.
I don't know. Yeah. So yeah, I got My mom's dropping Emma off, so I need to go let her in.
Okay. All right. So we
don't
end
know.
early tonight. That's all.
Yeah.
All right. Hey, listen, life happens. You respond to what life gives you, and that's all there is to it. So
not a problem, Ray.
All
I'll take those wheels off and measure that shaft because it's the big one. It's older. I think it's an older Snap-on one that I took in on trade.
Okay, I still have the pictures I took. If you don't have,
Yeah,
it,
I think I still have it on what you text me, so
Okay.
it has the measurement.
All right,
and I'll just double check. I pulled it out of I cleaned the shed out when I was pulling all those parts out, and I found an older Snap-on one. So
you never know what you're gonna find when you start digging.
I've found so much stuff, dude. It's been crazy, but
that's cool. Hey, you find some nice little Easter eggs, a little, that's cool.
Yeah. So, like I said, I'll yank those, and
all right.
I got a whole bunch of stuff here I need to pack off to you. So,
all right. So, for Lewis Lee's Plane and Traffic, Ray Guarino, Motormouth Radio, Matco Man Brian, of course, from Matco Tools, and we'll be back next week and do it all over again.
You got it. Don't
Brian,
follow us home.
Yeah, I know. That's right. All right.
I'll see you, Ray. Take care.
Brian. So long.